You remember what it was like approaching your first crush or setting your favorite outfit on the bed, ready for that next day of school in the morning, or having that big idea, that life-changing idea of starting a business, only to give up on it because you don't think that everything's gonna fall into place like you want it to. You fear that it won't be perfect. That's kind of what this video is about. Well, not really. This video is about those that either just graduated high school or graduated a few years ago. Or it's not necessarily just about that. It's about people that are in this world wandering, not knowing what the next step is, and fearing making that next step because you fear that you don't know what the right move is. What's that actual next step that you should take? And you want to be so sure about that next step because it could change your life or it could not. I find myself a lot in life thinking about everything. I overthink a lot of times about sometimes the simplest stuff, sometimes the biggest stuff. But me graduating high school, class of 22, it's been about 3 years now. And I'm in school myself. As you can see, I'm recording right now. I wanted to talk about a lot of the things that I've, come to realize as a reality of a high school graduate, like what's next, Because for some, you graduate high school, go get a regular 9 to 5. For some, graduate high school and go straight to college. But a lot of the times they don't talk about what it's like when you graduate high school, the reality of it, A lot of it is good and a lot of it is not necessarily the best, but one thing that pops up to my mind, people don't talk about the expectations, man. I feel like a lot of expectations are put on us in my generation, but also on us as men. We're expected to make so much money at a certain age. We're expected to have it all together even if people don't directly say it, I felt the pressure myself of I gotta get my money together. I gotta upgrade my car. I gotta get my own spot, you feel me? I mean, I have a spot, but it's not necessarily what I want, I always said I'm gonna have my nice apartment with a nice car, not necessarily a sports car, at least not yet. But I find myself a lot just thinking of myself and comparing myself even sometimes. But we're only young, I'm 22 and some of you guys may be 18, some of you guys may be 20, some of you guys might be 24. It's a lot that is expected, and I wish I could tell you the exact solution. But what I can say is find something that you feel that you're good at. Find something that gives you purpose. For me, at first I thought it was football. I was playing football, having fun. Started struggling a little bit. Didn't really make the best of it because I want to say later on, my junior and senior year of high school, I started getting a lot better. I started playing better, but when it came game time, I wasn't there all the way. Practice was good, lifts was good, game time was not, So unfortunately, I never earned a scholarship, and that kind of left me like, what's next? Like, man, like it was kind of a part of my identity at this point, So to graduate high school with no offers, and then just to be put out into the world, trying to figure out who I am, what do I do, how can I be somebody that's extraordinary. You know, I don't want to be a normal person. You know, if some of you guys have paid attention, I put kinophobic in my bio on Instagram because I feel like my biggest fear is living a normal life. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to live a normal life, that's totally and perfectly fine. But I always said to myself, even when I was young, I'm gonna be good at something, I'm gonna be great, and I'm gonna be successful at the end of the day. Which is why, as you guys know, I'm in trade school right now. If you don't and haven't been following the channel, I'm a young 22-year-old influencer as well as part-time student, trying to build wealth and stability. I want to build wealth and stability using my certification that I'll be getting from my trade school to invest, once I get that, to secure a job, use a portion of my income into real estate property, and to have kind of like a joint profit going on, you know, from work and then from flipping houses, and then, you know, the sky's the limit. But back to what I was saying, man, graduating high school, it's crazy, man, because being on your own, I want to talk about that. A lot of people don't talk about adult loneliness and what it's like when you graduate high school and your friends went separate ways. Some of y'all were like me, you know, you didn't really have the best outcome with your parents, you know, so you might have been out of the crib before you graduated high school or right when you graduated high school. And a lot of times things can get kind of dull, you know, kind of lonely, you know, sometimes. And it's not necessarily to say that you are a person that's not going through it, because you got to think, man, I know it doesn't seem like it at times, but you're not the only one going through it, you know. A lot of people, you just never know until you bump into the right person, and they tell you their story, you know, and you guys can relate. I myself find it hard to open up to people for the simple fact that I don't feel like everybody's worth opening up to, you know. You know, the common phrase is, how was your day? Or how are you? We commonly say good, even when we're not good, you know. Sometimes it may be that I don't feel that the person would understand where I'm coming from, or they may try to compare themselves and kind of downplay what it is you're thinking. And it's not necessarily that it's a competition, but sometimes being heard isn't really always, it's not really always, I don't know how to put it, but yeah, people don't always really hear what you're expressing, you know. Whether that may be you just want them to listen, or just to, you know, just acknowledge that they hear you, you know. A lot of the time, like I say, you know, for example, I may not always say what's on my mind because people don't always necessarily understand, you know, and a lot of us feel that way. We have this, we got this phrase called antisocial, but I don't think a lot of people are antisocial. I think a lot of people are just, at least the ones that are to themselves, I feel like they have certain values that they don't see that everybody else would hold themselves to, you know. Some people don't value friendship, you know, to the same level as everybody else, you know, and sometimes people can write that off as you being sensitive or so forth and so on. Sometimes you don't just, you know, fit in with everybody in society. You know, I felt like that a lot growing up. I don't think I really ever did fit in from middle school to high school, shoot, even elementary school. I mean, man, as far as I can remember, I always had, you know, different interests. At a young age, you know, I did start playing sports, and I also played in high school, but before high school, I played basketball, and, you know, I played soccer was actually my first sport, but I played, I'm trying to think, in middle school, I played basketball, And my mom had me doing like swimming, but I wasn't really serious about swimming. Now, I always wanted to play football, but I didn't get the opportunity until high school, but it was more so like the end of my sophomore year when I started playing football. And even then, man, I didn't really fit in with the football team. I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest. I wasn't necessarily understanding what role I played, and honestly, I felt like I didn't know what role I played in life, just in general. I found myself, like you guys, looking for that somebody that gets you, and yeah, it can be difficult, but it's not impossible. So yeah, it's a lot sometimes. It's a lot sometimes, but let me go off script, man. I feel like I'm trying to portray a script or something. Like I already wrote like a whole dialogue of what I was gonna say in this video. I don't know if you guys can see it, and things I wanted to talk about. But yeah, man. And that goes a lot back to high school. I feel like a lot of people don't really ever graduate high school. What do I mean by that? Mentally, they don't graduate high school. Everybody's concerned about looking like somebody, walking like somebody, or talking like somebody. And when you graduate, all the people that were focused or different and didn't fit in, those are the ones that are the CEOs, And yeah, man, I kind of feel like I'm yapping, but I'm trying to, I don't know, man. This is raw talk, man. So it's like, there is no set of what I'm supposed to say. So, I'm just trying to think from the head and just speak from the heart, because, I could continue to make videos based off of this or that, but I really just want to relate to you guys. A lot of my viewers, like I said, have probably just graduated high school, probably been in college. But yeah, man, it can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes, the struggle of just being a man, being on your own, having to figure out what it is to actually be a man, to be independent, understanding what's necessary so that, if you want to when you have a family, you could be the man of the house, and knowing like what to represent, because I feel like the man is the head of the household, not just in a power aspect, but in a leadership aspect, trying to be somebody that your family can look up to, or they have a good role model to model themselves after, and somebody to trust in. I used to spend a lot of the time, I know this sounds crazy, but as a kid, just imagining what it would be like, to have my own family once I'm, got my life situated and together. But just who I want to be as a person, navigating my way through life with certain interests and morals. I used to think a lot about, what does it take to be a man? A lot of the time, society will tell us what a man is, and sometimes the people that are telling us don't even have a good role model of what a man is to begin with, Sometimes that could be like, as simple as, never letting somebody see you with your head down low, Don't show emotion, stuff like that. Just like really just trying to navigate like what it is, like what type of value can you have as a man if you don't have money and finances, And when you do get that money and finances, what about you actually separates yourself? Because there are a lot of people with money and finances. What can you do for your family, for your friends, for anybody around you that can just make their life better? Like, what advice can you give, And I think that's something I've always thought about, what is it to be a man? You know, what is it to go through what you go through and gotta tell yourself that it's gonna be all right, even when sometimes you don't feel like it is. You know, keeping your head up. You know, when you on your last straw. You know, a lot of us can relate to that. You know, I mean, a lot of things that are said and left unsaid just simply because we can't express it. You know, I mean, a lot of us, you know, it's kind of like, it's kind of frustrating, like even just trying to develop the words to express how I feel or what it is I want to say, not necessarily for speaking in a perfect mannerism, but like man, bro, you gotta always like almost kind of have like the plan, and you gotta almost like always have it together when you're not together, you know? Found myself a lot in life, like, you know, different struggles was, you know, different situations and things, but man, it was difficult, like just going through it all, trying to keep yourself together, you know. I don't know, man. It just, sometimes, like I say, it could be a lot, man. It could be a lot. Expectations, having to understand what it is to be a stand-up man. You know, it's a lot of expectations and not a lot of support almost. You know, you kind of almost got to be your own support system. Ain't really no kind of, it really is. You got to be your own support system, and you got to be that rock for yourself. Some of y'all got, you know, close bonds with your family or friends, you know. But for those of y'all that are like me, that, you know, been out the crib, don't necessarily have the biggest, you know, friend group or a lot of people to talk to when you feel like days are just getting a little bit tougher, and yeah, man, it's a lot sometimes. But the best thing I can advise is, especially as a young man, like I say, man, find something you're passionate. I know that sounds like such a recycled term, but man, a lot of our issues as men are solved when we become financially free. And of course, that's not gonna happen like this. It's not gonna happen with a snap. And it's gonna be a lot of days where you question yourself, are you doing the right thing, or it's not going like you wanted it to go, and is this really worth it? You know, I could be doing this while I'm doing this. Like a perfect example, sometimes I be thinking about, like, I'm at school at night, right? And I feel like sometimes you know, school be going good, but my expenses will like take a dip sometime as far as like my financials, I should say. I'd be like, you know, maybe I should just go get this job over here that I know will pay me $20 an hour, you know, but I gotta work during the night, you know, and it's like, I gotta pay my own rent, you know, and pay my own insurance, you know, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that like somebody's supposed to be paying for it for me, but a lot of the time, you know, you can sacrifice something that is a short and quick, easy fix for something that could be a bigger fix. Like, for example, it's like I'm just gonna use athletics, bro, like sports, just because that's something that I could think of, like that's relatable. It's like when you get an injury, right? Like you get a tear in your muscle, or you roll your ankle real bad, and you try to come back the next Friday instead of resting it up for 3 weeks, icing it, you know, stuff like that. It's really just about sacrificing that moment that you're in and how hard it is. You just got to embrace it sometimes. And sometimes I know that's not what people want to hear. Sometimes what could be easier to hear is taking it one day at a time. Some days are going to feel bad. Some days are going to feel almost hopeless. But as long as you got another day, you got another chance at finding a way to fix your situation or to feel better. Sometimes, waking up that next day, it may be filled with a surprise or excitement from anything. It could be getting that text from that person that makes you happy. It could be, hearing from that family member that wants to make things better. I don't really know specifically what, it could be, but taking it one day at a time. I found when anything else fails, I try to take it one day at a time. Like I say, I did write a few things down. I do want to go over some things. I don't want it to be completely, I got to say it this way or I got to say it that way. Just trying to get comfortable with having like real one-on-one talks with you guys. But, what are some other things? Like I already talked about, finances, trying to have it all together when you're young. And that takes time, man, especially when you're a man in your 20s or even when you're 18 to like 25 to 27. Like our prime, I feel like us as men, right? We get two primes. I feel like women have one major prime. Not to say that there's anything wrong with it, just my personal opinion. But we hit two primes. I feel like our first prime is our financial prime. And a lot of the time, our financial prime is when we get older. That could be when we hit, I want to say, 30 years plus. Also, it's been a well-known thing that sometimes you can start to how do I put this? Like your facial features will mature and develop better as you grow older. A lot of women go for the older guy. Not always just for the money. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of it can be that. Not saying that that's the only reason, but our physical aspects, we mature physically, aesthetically. So I feel like we get more than one prime when we get older. So it's all about patience and time. But another thing I wanted to hit on, what did I want to hit on? Procrastination and small steps towards success. We gotta stay off social media or at least cut it down to a minimum because it's not making it easier on us men and showing us what it's actually taking people to get, where they're at. They're only showing you the Lamborghini, they only showing you the penthouse suite. They're not showing you how long it took to get the suite. They're not showing you what they did to get the suite, Some of it is fake, and some of it is real, but they don't embrace what it took to get there. And that's a lot of what I want to include in my channel. Just showing some one-on-one transparency with you guys of, where I'm at now, and it won't always be like it is, but I know a lot of you guys can relate to being a broke college student trying to figure it out. But yeah, man, it's all about taking your time, because everything is temporary in life. There's a famous phrase. I don't remember the specific verse, but I believe it's a Bible verse. The phrase is, or the verse is, "This too shall pass." Having a good day, this too shall pass. Having a bad day, this too shall pass. I'm anxious, my anxiety is up here, this too shall pass. My joy is through the roof, this too shall pass. I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm ecstatic, whatever other emotion or whatever other challenge, everything has a time and a place. And a lot of the time, even myself, sometimes I get tired of hearing people say, oh, it's not always gonna be like that forever. Like, who hasn't heard that phrase before? Like, everybody's heard it. Like, but I think everybody has their own time. Like, and it can be discouraging sometimes because you can be like, man, so many years has passed by and I don't got that job I wanted. I don't got that relationship I wanted. I don't have that car I wanted. I don't have that lifestyle I wanted. It could be anything, man, whatever it is, but a lot of it comes with time. And it's one thing I'm still learning myself, because I catch myself a lot, like, and it's nothing wrong with, I feel like comparing yourself isn't necessarily bad. I feel like the obsession of comparing yourself, because you do need I feel like you do need like a reminder that there are better things in the world and there's more that you can accomplish. Without that, I feel like people get stagnant, people get complacent. And that's not necessarily, just materialistic things. Because like I said before, I was talking about the house, the relationship, the car, the lifestyle, the phone, the latest phone, iPhone or whatever, but that could be a lot of other things, man. Just finally having that, friend that you can relate to, or what's another one? I'm trying to think. Having that safe space where you can be you, I guess. I mean, it could be a lot of things. I'm not really sure specifically because, like I say, it's just off the top of my head, man. I'm shooting freestyle right now. You feel me? But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpackage, man, and a lot to talk about. You feel me? I want to see, was there anything else that I did want to discuss? Trying to think, man. I'm trying to think. Like, my biggest advice for a lot of people that just graduated high school, expectations and like what to expect and like what's like actually real. Because a lot of people say what's gonna happen or what's gonna change when you get out of high school. One major thing is like you get a lot more freedom. I mean, even for those with strict parents, like once you hit like 19 or so, like you really got more freedom. Like, I mean, your parents probably gonna tell you to get a job, which is, the most likely thing, but like you don't gotta wake up for real at the crack of dawn anymore. Like some of y'all gonna wake up and go to work at 8 and work 8 to 5. Some of y'all might not even go to work till like 12, And it's that could be a blessing and a curse because you got so much time and you're not really managing it. You just kind of like going through the motions. So it's like, it's easy to lose touch. Like you'll just work, you might hang out with your friend. Some of y'all might drink and go to the club. Some of y'all might, smoke with your buddies or whatever. I'm saying buddies. And another thing, hold on, side note, right? Because a lot of the time, like using certain phrases and terminology or just speaking a certain way also was like, I don't know, it's weird. Like some of my friends used to always joke about it. Like any of y'all have ever had like somebody say like you talk proper, you talk white? But anyways, yeah, man, it was just something else I thought about like that I dealt with a lot, even in high school. But anyways, back to what I was saying. You have a lot of freedom. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Just because you're young, you 18, 20, 25, 24, 27, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter if it requires college or not. I would advise you don't waste time, because it's definitely portrayed that, oh, you young, you got time. Like people say that all the time. Like, and if you really want to be one of those people, like I really feel like Forget the career, the goal. It's really about like feeling accomplished. Like when all is said and done, when you close your eyes and you know you don't wake up, like, how do I say, like, I'm not saying this in a negative way, but like, I want to feel like when I go and when it's my time, like I did everything that I wanted to do because I worked hard, I put in the work, not having any regrets, man. Because, man, I'll tell you, having any type of regret, you know how that feels. And it's like, it only gets worse when you get older. Like, one of my simple regrets was like never, making it to college ball and never making it to go to the NFL. I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes I don't even like watching football because it just reminds me that I feel like I disappointed myself not doing what I should have did to get me where I was supposed to go. But I mean, hey, that's why I say don't fuck off your 20s, man. Like, I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not trying to say you got to do everything by the book, but don't fuck off your 20s, bro, because at some point it's going to come a day where it is no other day, and you faced with the choices you made in life and how you get to reflect on what happened. I mean, like I say, man, there's no cookie cutter of what success could be for you because everybody's path is different. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, I don't want to have any regrets. I don't want to have any regrets that I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. I didn't travel where I wanted to travel. I ain't talk to that girl I wanted to talk to. I ain't buy that car that I wanted to buy, that house I wanted to buy. I didn't make that little Nathan or that little you, whoever you are, my viewers, that you didn't make that younger version of you proud. Because forget what anybody else says. Honestly, when all is said and done, don't nobody else's opinion matter or how they feel about you. When all is said and done, how are you going to feel about yourself and what you did with the time that you got? Because all of our time is limited, and most of us don't even know when that time is going to be up with. So with that being said, like, I really just want to express to you guys, it's hard. When you graduate high school, it's hard. You could feel lost. You could have like a foggy mind, not knowing what to do, where to start. Just start trying stuff. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone, like, for real. And don't be worried about what other people think. As long as you're not doing somebody that's gonna take somebody's life or put somebody's life in harm, try it, man. Like, see, you could, bro, there's like literally nothing in this world you can't achieve if you don't put your mind to it. Like, some of y'all have had that idea what you want to be. Some of you guys have had that, like, feeling that you should try this path out, but you nervous because you don't know how it's going to look. You might feel goofy about doing it, or just the simple fact that not a lot of people do it. Like, for some of y'all want to be a Navy SEAL. For some of y'all want to be an astronaut. I know it sounds crazy, right? These are some big aspirations. But I know some of y'all do have big aspirations. I don't know what it is, but try your hardest, bro. Cause like, I can't express it, man. Like, I think about it a lot, bro. Like, it don't matter what nobody else thinks. Like, I want to be proud of myself when I lay my head on that pillow and the day is done and all that was said was done. Everything is what it is. You only get a limited amount of time on this earth, man. I don't know what you want to do, but I encourage you to don't be afraid of judgment. Don't be afraid of expectations, the way you may look, the way you may feel, because you don't necessarily fit in, or you're not doing a practical thing that everybody else is doing, or people might look at you as weird or secluded or different because you focused on what you're doing, So yeah, man, this is more so what I would advise for the younger generation. Yeah, just embrace being different and embrace going down that path alone. Because sometimes going down that path alone, you can leave footsteps for other people like you. So with that being said, it's your boy, Big Nate, AKA Nate the Great, signing off with this video. I will see you guys soon. Peace.